Hey everyone, this is Hannah with the Rocket Miner giving you today's news update. I wanted to start off with just going over the COVID-19 numbers in Wyoming, giving an update on where those are at. Today, the Wyoming Department of Health is reporting that we have 3,089 confirmed cases in Wyoming and 545 probable cases. With all of the numbers, we're at 632 active cases in Wyoming right now. This is down by 7 from where it was at yesterday, but this is still staying at a pretty high place. We had been going down, getting down below 500, and then it started going up again, and it's still staying there in the above 600 range. So still not doing great, but thankfully, as I said, it is down a little bit from yesterday. So hopefully this is a good sign and we can just keep going down and bringing it back down to a more manageable number. With COVID-19 updates, I wanted to say that Governor Mark Gordon is going to be giving another press conference and update that will be tomorrow at 3 p.m. He's going to discuss both COVID-19, give an update on where we're at with that as a state, and then also talk about the finalized state budget cuts and give more information about that. So you can watch his update. As I said, that's tomorrow at 3, and that will be shared through the Wyoming PBS channels, and we'll share it on our Facebook as well. Looking at some of the COVID cases that we've seen recently, the Casper Star-Tribune reported that a high school student in Torrington has tested positive for COVID-19 after attending classes, and this was just days after schools reopened there. Torrington High School reopened on August 18th, and this student did attend at least that day of class. Goshen County School District Superintendent Ryan Kramer said that the student left school and then developed symptoms at home. So that student was tested, was confirmed positive, and he did not return for the duration of the school's first week back. They also noted that the understanding from the health officials is that the student was not exposed to the virus from within the high school. So most likely he was exposed somewhere else outside of the school, but he did attend, as I said, at least that first day of classes before he tested positive for the virus. So he's not at school now and he's isolating, but I know that they're hoping that that doesn't spread or develop any other cases within that school. But that is probably the first case that we've heard of in Wyoming within schools so far, but hopefully that won't spread. Thankfully, within our local schools here in Sweetwater County, as they started up last week, and then as Western Wyoming Community College just started their classes this week, thankfully we haven't seen or heard of any confirmed COVID cases within our schools yet, but our schools are definitely working hard to follow the different safety precautions and guidelines that they've put in place, and they're continually updating things and making decisions about how to keep the schools and all of the students and teachers and everyone safe. And in that line, as they make those decisions, today we found out Rock Springs High School announced that they are going to cancel this year's Tiger Town Bash. They said in a statement on Facebook, "But after much thought, analysis, and wait time, Rock Springs High School will be canceling the Tiger Town Bash for this fall season. Our main focus during this time is to do all that we can to assure a healthy, safe, and a complete fall season for our athletes and students at RSHS. We appreciate the adherence to the COVID-19 protocols so far and expect that support through these unique times. Again, it is our ultimate goal to assure our athletes and students the opportunity to continue to complete this fall season. Thank you for your understanding in this matter." So, got that update, which is sad because the Tiger Town Bash is always a really fun time, but since it is such a big gathering of people, they obviously felt it was best and safest to cancel for this year. So, I just want to say that I definitely personally appreciate how much work people are doing within the school districts and just everybody working together to figure out what's safest and to try to follow those guidelines and just make smart decisions to protect people's health. On a slightly different news, shifting away from COVID, we are still dealing obviously with a lot of wildfires throughout the West right now. There is still a little bit of smoke in the air here, but thankfully that is starting to clear away and the air quality is starting to get better. We're not seeing as much of that haze as we have over the weekend. But there are still a lot of dangerous fire weather conditions that the National Weather Service Office is warning about. There's a hazardous weather outlook warning that there could be scattered thunderstorms pretty much every day this week. And they are those kinds of thunderstorms with usually not much rain, but definitely potential for lightning, which could start new fires. And there's also going to be a fire weather watch in effect on Thursday. So again, just all those weather conditions coming together to give the potential for fires to spread or for new fires to start. So people need to be aware of that and be careful with their own actions and how that could contribute. In line with that, today it was reported that 4 fires have been discovered across the Bridger-Teton National Forest within the last 24 hours. All of these are believed to be from recent lightning events over that area. Thankfully, most of these fires are relatively small and contained and under control right now, but obviously just with the lightning and the conditions, having 4 of them within a 24-hour period is just a reminder of how dangerous these conditions are. So these 4 fires, there's the Pass Fire, the Skull Fire, the Iron Rim Fire, and the Smokehouse Fire. And again, thankfully, most of those have either been controlled already or they're not in an area where they're likely to spread. I think maybe the worst one right now is the Iron Rim Fire. It's currently only 1/10 of an acre. But there are 6 Teton interagency fire personnel who were transported this morning to begin suppression efforts with that fire. And also the Skull Fire is a 1/4 acre and it has 5 Teton interagency fire personnel who are working on it. So those are the ones with people actively working on them, but thankfully, as I said, they are still pretty small. But the Bridger-Teton National Forest officials who reported this did note, they said these fires should serve as a reminder that fuels are receptive and we remain in very high fire danger and have stage 1 fire restrictions in place. They said even with rain in the forecast, it's important to remain vigilant. Months of dry, windy conditions have cured the forest vegetation, allowing fires to start easily and spread rapidly under most conditions. And for fires in that area, you can check tetonfire.com for more information and updates about the fire restrictions in that area. Ironically, while the West and so many Western states are dealing with these wildfires that are spreading and causing so much damage in so many places and so many different conditions just for more fires to start, as we're dealing with those, the South is dealing with the opposite problem and dealing with water coming from tropical storms and hurricanes. We've seen these 2 tropical storms that are in the South that are headed towards some of those states. There's Laura, which has now become a hurricane, and Marco, which is right now a tropical storm. Those 2 storms are next to each other and have hit the Gulf Coast and are headed towards a couple of the U.S. states in the south there, especially I think it's Hurricane Laura that's headed toward Louisiana and Texas right now. So preparing for that, the American Red Cross is getting ready to send relief supplies and disaster workers to help everyone who's affected by those storms. And that includes a lot of helpers coming from the West, specifically a group from the American Red Cross of Colorado and Wyoming. They have disaster responders who are on their way to the Gulf Coast. They have volunteers deploying virtually and even more volunteers on standby to leave at a moment's notice to provide support before, during, and after the storm. They said that some of the volunteers have deployed, that they're going to serve as strike team members, and they said this in a press release from the American Red Cross. They said this special disaster response team has been extensively trained to keep those we serve, the partners we work with, and our workforce safe while providing disaster relief during COVID-19. Obviously, dealing with the pandemic adds just a new element to how they operate and how they can provide that relief to people. But they said that the Red Cross has developed new policies to align with CDC safety recommendations. They've created a series of virtual trainings and materials to make sure that responders are aware of changes and ready to respond to the disasters. So, again, just like thanks and gratitude to all of the people who are doing so much and putting their own safety at risk and giving their time and energy to respond to both the the wildfires and all the firefighters that are in the West, those who are responding to that, and then these people who are going even further away to help other people dealing with other problems. Just grateful to everyone who's giving so much of themselves to help other people who are in danger and who are going through loss, and just all these situations as we respond to these different natural disasters. To end on a positive note today, I just wanted to remind everybody about something exciting that's happening on Friday. The Alzheimer's Association is going to be hosting a drive to end Alzheimer's. That will be at 6 p.m. August 28th, which is Friday, in both Rock Springs and Green River. Usually the Alzheimer's Association does a walk to end Alzheimer's, but because of the pandemic, because the walk is usually a large gathering of people, they decided to change it slightly this year and turn it into a drive. So that will be happening in Rock Springs if you want to be a part of that. Vehicles are going to be assembling at Young at Heart, and then in Green River, vehicles will get together and start at Evers Park. So that will be a really fun event. You can check rocketminer.com. We have more information about like the specific route that those drives are going to take, but those are the places that they're meeting up. Anyone who wants to participate can pre-register online, and we have the link for that on rocketminer.com as well. So you can look at that for more information, but definitely encourage everyone to come out and be a part of this event and show your support, and it'll be a fun way to support a really good cause. So I want to encourage everyone to take part in that. That's all that I have for you today. Thank you for listening, and keep checking back with us for more news. Have a good night.